So today I'll be talking about a lot of advice that I got from a man who was my lover, who I dated. This is 7 years ago, going close to 8 years. And I'm not standing by this as stuff that I would say in my own words. I'm saying these are ideas that have helped me a lot and have shaped me. And whether or not I like it, they live in me. So I thought it's important to share, and also just to bring attention to the fact that men that we've been with give us our values later. What's not in the seed is not going to grow. So if it's not true for me, it won't last. But the truth in me is aligning me with the truth. All right, so first of all, women mirror men and do not generate our own energy. And there's no true friendship between men and women. Female magnifies the points of what is behind the male. When dwelling on the negative, we have to see our own actions. It doesn't matter who acclimated us to be this way, but it also causes a come-out swinging defensive sensibility. We don't make anyone take responsibility for us in addition to ourselves in a healthy relationship. Jumping to conclusions immediately is the first impressions on nothing, and will be shown to frustratedly break down at a calm down moment. Jumping also causes us to spit venom as breaths, like a snake, because through emotionally clouded lens until that moment. So for the sake of broader sight and greater objectivity, we have to keep calming down, taking stock, accountability for our actions. Is really just seeing choices. And a reaction is a type of action. We don't make the other at the expense of I. So if I, then not you, starts from an uncorrected selfishness that celebrates the precedent rather than glimpsing something higher. So then glimpsing something higher than an unjustified ego. So the selfish starting point, if something made me irritable, it must be justified. I'm not responsible. I didn't make myself this way for that to be an irritant or for me to have irritation. Instead, it's like we could actually see, okay, so presently unsustainable states can be momentarily attainable, like calm. Even if we can't maintain it all the time, we could feel calm for a moment, and it gives us a glimpse, right? So this uncorrected selfishness says, I didn't make myself this way, I'm going to serve myself because this is how I am. Rather than say, wow, there could be a place where both of us, and where I am responsible, where I do have choices. Then the conviction of an outer reality that's mistaken as objective for myself, that I'm not responsible because I was born this way against my will, has an other side, an inner, which is the unity of just being, because I didn't make myself, I just am. I'm just being created, right? So then there's this identity with a capital I. It's not binary. I was made because I was made, and therefore I am. I am being made, right? There's non-dual, so there is no I in you. It actually collapses, because if I was made, maybe you made me, right? And objective means we were all made. This has all been made. This is a creation. And that's higher, that we're all part of creation, and that collapses this I versus you, or some versus other, or identifying with versus an enemy. And it requires all of this for us to live with working definitions, which means learning how to cope with rules. So rules can be for now and may not last forever. It could be that while you work here, you have to have this rule. Until you're 18, you have to have this rule. So it's kind of like learning how to, the working definition of safety, or the working definition of professionalism. Lacking attention is a defiance. It's a learned behavior, and it's forgiving because it pardons responsibility. I don't have to respond. I'm distracted, right? I don't have the attention. I'm in lack. And it's tolerable. It's not overwhelming, like the situation. Otherwise, we would be not trying to put our attention onto something else. So it is a type of, I will not pay attention to this. I will not be affected by this. A defiance. And swimming against ourselves is temporary, and we cannot actually let the conflicted moment be perceived as something over time, as forever. Because just feeling it in a present way is how we become more spacious. And it's like without experiencing a dissolving. So it's like who I am is not this 1 second piece of me, but yet I'm all of it. So how could it not be me? And maybe this is who I always am. So this swimming against ourselves, it's always temporary because it requires us to like have attention enough that I'm talking or interacting with some version of me. Then addressing, writing, and acknowledging after a conflict to process and explain and be heard is normal and helps sanity. It's also a kindness for the other person because in understanding ourselves, we also understand others better. They can understand their self and others better. And I had a friend struggling. Her name is Pearl, and I let her know that blossoming without the supports, slowly, steadfastly, surely, is this idea that we go from kirov, which is like connection, to chevra, which is like a community, like we're a group, because the group could be all individuals, and then kind of like a chaver, like a partner, like a friend who we practice like opening ourselves to each other, and then chavrusa, whereas like we have an individual where you can practice really like deeply learning together. So we let our guard down with our chavrusa because we're going to see where we're not yet, enough. And we move from there. Today's Friday, so tomorrow's Sabbath. I won't be having a video, but Sunday I will. And so thank you for spending time with me. Wish you a blessed day. Bye.